What's happening, everyone? Gaming's Good here, and welcome to my review of The Echo. The Echo is an indie cyberpunkian horror game. It costs $3 USD, but is it even worth that cheap price? That's what I'm covering today. This video will have spoilers and show a lot of what this game has to offer. With that out of the way, let's get into it. One of, if not the most important thing a horror game can have is atmosphere. And though not perfect, I will admit I love the retro cyberpunkian look. Reminds me of the Casebook of Arcady Smith or Blade Runner. It's not really a scary atmosphere, but a pretty good one nonetheless. A strong part of atmosphere is sound design, which this game sadly lacks. For the most part, it is likely a mismatch of stock music and sound effects, and at certain points of the game, like the Green Maze is a good example, the audio starts glitching out. It takes all the immersion out and just gets irritating. Gameplay-wise, there is quite a bit of variety. At first it starts out as a basic do your tasks type game. Take your meds, read your emails, talk to your landlord, etc., etc. But later we get a PT-like section, where we have to fix whatever anomalies are happening in this house to progress, or the maze was the Weeping Angel robots, or the security guards actively hunting you. There's quite a bit going on in this game, but it doesn't really execute anything well. Let's do a brief overview of the story before going on to each main section of the game. The story is quite simple. You are a man named Bob, and you are tasked with hopping into some kind of cyber dream super network of sorts that's on the verge of collapsing, which explains the weird anomalies you'll run into. It's a simple premise, but intriguing enough for a $3 spooky game. Now for the game. We'll be skipping the intro because, again, it's just your basic do your tasks and keep going. So after entering the Nero network, the first section is this PT-like hallway. Each time you make it to the end, something will change that you have to fix, like interacting with all these weird faces or closing the window curtains. This is probably the scariest part of the game. It even has a 3 out of 10 jump scare right here. After completing all the anomalies, we then sit in another chair and move on to level 2, if you will, where it's some kind of cyber dog chase through a maze. The PT level was alright, but this one is just really bad. I like the premise, but the execution is horrible. You just keep running through this giant maze until you find the end. The dog is super slow, not scary at all, even if you run into a dead end, it'll likely just be death. And that's about it. When you get to the door, you enter level 3, and it's another maze. This one's better, but not by much though. After doing this little puzzle, you now have to avoid this robot stalking you, while finding 3 switches. The maze is pretty large, and the buttons are a bit annoying to find. My problem with this part is just how unscary it is, despite having a commonly used but effective enemy type. The robots feel more like a slight inconvenience than an actual threat. The maze itself is pretty bad too. It just looks like they threw a bunch of assets around an oversized map and called it a day. This is probably where you'll spend most of your playtime in, so have fun. Anyways, with all 3 switches pressed, you sit on another chair which will take you to the 4th and final level, and in my opinion, it's the best part of the game. So you're back where it all started, but now you're being stalked by a bunch of these robot guys. You'll have to stealth around them to finish the game, and it's actually quite fun, until you get stuck at the last door of the game. When this first happened to me, I thought I had to find 3 switches or something, so I looked around for a long time. I did find these generator-looking things, but I couldn't do anything with them. I eventually got bored and just looked it up, and from my research, this is only a problem on PS4, so screw PS4 users, I guess. This one comment I read said you just need to reload the save from that point, and I accidentally new games. Look at the screen and tell me if pressing X should have new games. Well, lucky for me, I had to replay the entire game again, which is the footage you're seeing now. So finally making it back to the last door, and it doesn't work again. So I tried reloading the save, and not new gamings this time, and voila, it worked, and I beat the game. So overall, in the context of a $3 game, and in general being a sucker for horror and cyberpunk stuff, I'd say it had its up and downs. But mostly downs. The vibe and some of the spooky stuff did work, and a couple of the puzzles kept me interested. And again, the final level was actually pretty fun. But when you add the glitches, the poor audio mixing, the 2 awful maze levels, and really look at it for what it is, It's just mediocre in every sense of the word. This is my first review on this channel, and I want to try and be quirky with how I rate things. And as an advent lover of mac and cheese, we'll be using the mac and cheese score. So I give the Echo a great value mac and cheese out of Mac. I was really disappointed in this one, because Dark Receipt was actually okay, and this game is made from the same developers. I might do a speedrun of the Echo, but I won't try near as hard as I did with Dark Receipt. We'll just see what the future holds. Now, would I recommend this game? The answer is yes, under a couple of conditions. Firstly, be on PS5 so your game doesn't glitch out at the end. Second, be a sucker of horror and cyberpunk like me. And lastly, wait for a price drop. I think I got it. I think I got mine around $2, which is pretty fair. Anyways, catch you in the next one.